It's the last leg of the midweek daily rundown on Channel 7. I'm Dan Morfitt, and even I don't know what's going to happen in this next part. It's time to look at some of the more unusual stories that have been making the news. If they're a load of tut, we can blame producer Emmy. If in doubt. Right, our first story is about a special squad set up in North Yorkshire to prevent muggings. Victims will be able to report attacks directly to the authorities. Now, they've kindly given us a photo of the culprits for this one. Oh, so this special squad is rather special indeed. The team in Scarborough will be using evidence to fight the gull colonies who have been locked in a struggle with the inhabitants of the town for more than 20 years. They will be using picture evidence to get a clearer picture of the scale of the gull problem in the seaside town. This follows reports that the resort's skies ended up like scenes from the Hitchcock movie The Birds.
I love it that we're battling the colonies. It makes us sound like the Cylons.
This is we're bad-mouthing, surely by showing a face of one gull, we're lumping them all in with all the other gulls.
With the same brush.
Yeah.
Profiling, gull profiling. That's the danger here.
Because that one looks evil, but I don't want to cast aspersions upon other gulls.
If you have been involved with a battle with seagulls for 20 years, it might be about time to have some kind of peacetime football match, or just give in. If you can't beat gulls in 20 years, this is just ridiculous. This is the.
Well, what are you suggesting though? That we just because the solution, like an extremely effective and permanent solution, would be to just completely arbitrarily exterminate them. But that's probably a step too far for the council, because they're like, well, actually, we don't want to kill them. We just want them to not.
Is the theft of chicks? Can we
clarify? Bad? Are you talking about the residents or the seagulls?
Well, I'll leave that one up to you.
I think we should lock them in a room, and just one of them should come out. Just like maybe we should have.
So
maybe
the
we
should select a champion.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm suggesting. Yeah. Yes, that's exactly.
Gull versus human.
Gull versus
in an
pensioner.
octagon on the coast of Scarborough.
I see now the octagon. You'd have to have some kind of roof on it, like maybe a cage, because an octagon, the gull's just going to fly high. It's got the superior sort of height advantage, and the pensioner. We all know pensioners don't do well in mixed martial arts.
This really is a very strange show, and I have to say, I'm loving it. Right, let's look at our next story now. A bizarre wife carrying contest apparently has a serious message. Legend has it that the sport was inspired by the historic practice of wife stealing, when young men would raid nearby villages and carry off their rivals' wives. These days, the women are willing participants in the competition and gladly volunteer to be carried. The organisers said the fun event had a serious side by encouraging married couples to follow healthy lifestyles. Here's a picture of that wife carrying. This just looks like CrossFit to me. Because
wife carrying seems quite popular in Scandinavia. There's the thing. I saw a hairy bikers thing, and they had some wife carrying demonstrated to them, and so these, I think it was Finland. So there was these two Finnish couples who are both absolutely lovely people, as you might expect from sort of welcoming, lovely Scandinavian people on television. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, okay, so let's see the wife carrying then. And then it was just like a kind of military. It was quite impressive, but okay, right? I mean, but maybe. I just think so. I mean, are they making it equal? Is there going to be husband carrying now as well for or
maybe with the Olympics being so drugged up, wife carrying could be an Olympic sport.
Perhaps.
And by the looks of those pictures, it will be just as gripping. Right, let's look at our next story now. Good news for those of us with small bladders. Oh, producer Emmy definitely wrote this. A High Court judge ruled that Baker's Greggs should provide toilets to their customers. This is because it provides seating for customers buying food and drink. So the ruling could have implication for other takeaways like Pret-a-Manger, Starbucks, Costa Coffee, and your local kebab house too. So is this going to improve our lives? A toilet in the takeaway?
No. We could improve Greggs and many other places in many ways, but giving them a toilet. I mean, if you are asking people to sit down, then yes. But I've just assumed...
What type of place to sit down? To sit down and eat, or to sit down, sit down?
Well, if you're suggesting that DFS should have toilets, or Sofa Warehouse, or any of these places, or just like, the
but you're not
mobility
eating
shop.
there.
Well, I just...
But some of those places do sell commodes.
See, now you're speaking to somebody who doesn't understand why. Like, I've never been to an IKEA, but I'm led to believe that it's a furniture shop that people go to eat meatballs.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, yeah.
I really want to take you to an IKEA now, because I could lose you like a 4-year-old child.
No, because I'm not good with following plans.
No, that's what makes it even better. You'd be going through side doors,
I was once
cupboards.
scared by somebody who read me the story of Hansel and Gretel, and now I don't follow trails.
You're getting confused now between grim fairy tales and Scandinavian wholesale furniture.
I very frequently do that. I once tried to buy a wardrobe off Hans Christian Andersen.
Just imagine a house like a big coconut. Right, let's look at our next story now. The tradition of throwing mortarboards into the air after graduating has reportedly been banned by a university on health and safety grounds. This is ridiculous. The University of East Anglia said the decision was taken after a number of graduates were injured by falling hats, including one who was taken to A&E after being cut on the face. That's according to a statement published by the student newspaper. Honestly, take away their degree. If they're stupid enough to get hit, it's their fault. Right, instead, students have been advised that mortarboards could be added digitally to photographs after the event for a charge of £8.
Well, frankly, I think the main problem here is the University of East Anglia's long-standing but foolish policy of putting razor blades in the mortarboards.
Well,
Peaky Blinders is a fictitious account of Birmingham gangsters, not something you would put in a graduation ceremony.
No, indeed.
Well, I think that the East Anglia people are throwing their mortarboards at the wrong angulars.
Anglias.
You see, what I've done is you should just shoot these people. They don't deserve sentience. If you can't...
They don't deserve degrees if they can't throw a hat and catch it.
But it's not a hat, it's a mortarboard, which is just essentially, it just looks like something you should... I mean, it looks like something in a really pretentious restaurant you'd get your dinner served on. It's just, I don't like... When I graduated, I was able to throw a mortarboard without injuring myself.
Or anyone else?
Well, I didn't really care about anyone else.
Yeah,
I just threw the mortarboard and then walked.
Maybe you hit a goal.
See, no.
Right, let's look at our final story. Don't you just hate it when you go through airport security? You've got to take your belt off, your shoes off. Well, this fella almost took his head off.
Wow.
Now, this is not a real mummy. It's a prop from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Or he was either in the queue for a very, very long time. That's
coming home from Weekend at Bernie's, isn't it? Really, that's
the come down from having spent a nice necromantic weekend.
That deserves a round of applause.
It's strange.
Could you imagine being sat on that on a flight? You would just go, I'm never going this budget airline ever again.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. I mean, the waiting times. This obviously is having a detrimental effect on passenger health.
Do you think they had any liquids? Because they looked rather dry to me. Right, that's another daily rundown over and done with. We've ridden the hump of the week. Thanks to my guests, fitness expert Kirk Miller, Ashleigh Talbot, and Stephen Armstrong. Right, Fiona Fox is here tomorrow for the last daily rundown of the week. But for me and everybody else here, have a great one. Bye.